In the final evening, before his death and resurrection, Jesus was with his disciples, and following instituting the Lord's Supper, he challenges them and encourages them to lead as servants. He commends them for having spent the last 3 years with him and suffering in the persecution and the opposition he was receiving from others. They were with him, they stood with him in what he calls his trials. Thirdly, he has a specific word to say to Peter about his relationship with the other disciples, particularly in light of the fact that he was going to deny the Lord. Let's take a look at that. It's in Luke chapter 22, verses 31 to 34. I want to read these to us here. And the Lord said, Simon, Simon, indeed Satan has asked for you that he may sift you as wheat. But I have prayed for you, that your faith should not fail. And when you've returned to me, strengthen your brethren. But he said to him, Lord, I am ready to go with you both to prison and to death. Then he said, I tell you, Peter, the rooster shall not crow this day before you will deny 3 times that you know me. Well, that denial did take place. And Peter, it said he went out and wept bitterly after that, and he realized that he had denied the Lord. And I think that these words that Jesus spoke here would have really had a great impact on him as he decided to go with the other disciples up to Galilee, because the Lord said, I'm going to meet you there after my resurrection. I'm going to meet you in the Galilee on a certain mountain. Be there, and I'm going to meet you there. So he went fully expecting, I think, to see Jesus, and I don't know if he was worried about that encounter, but I'll tell you one thing. Jesus said, when you return to me, strengthen your brethren. So the Lord said, you will return to me. So that had to inspire some confidence in him, like, okay, the Lord knows me. He knows that I want to. You will return to me. And when you do, be a strength to your brothers. Now, I can't get inside Peter's head. I don't know what he would have been thinking, but it seems to me that if I had denied the Lord, Judas's betrayal is one thing, but the rest of the disciples, they didn't deny him like I did. They just ran. So what I did was a little worse, maybe much worse. And I would think like, well, I'm not sure I'm worthy to be a strength to brothers. In other words, to fulfill a leadership role that Christ was going to give him. I'm not sure they'll accept me. I'm more than a little embarrassed by what I've done. So there could be some guilt, remorse, and maybe a sense of being disqualified because he had denied that he even knew the Lord. And so they went up to the Galilee, and Jesus, sure enough, after the resurrection, came there and met with them. You remember the story? That the disciples were out in a boat, and they fished all night, didn't catch anything. And there was one, Jesus, the resurrected Jesus, standing on the shore, and he said to them, cast your net onto the other side. So, wrong time of the day for fishing, but they just did it. And as they did that, they caught so many fish that their boat was going to sink. And someone on the boat said, it's the Lord. The one speaking to us is the Lord. So Peter didn't wait for anything. He just jumped out of the boat and got there as fast as he could into the presence of Jesus. And here's why I think why that was true. I think he really wanted to look into the eyes of Jesus and see, is it true? Is it true? Can I really return? And he did see that. They celebrated breakfast together. Then Jesus talked with Peter and reinstated him into being a shepherd to his sheep, to feed his sheep. But I think there had to be a moment where Peter wasn't sure if that was all going to work out. But he was given that place of ministry. And in that place of ministry, not only to feeding the sheep, but also in the relationship to the other disciples, he was called to be a strength to them. Brother and sister, I think this is really key for us, that we live among each other as the one who serves, that we are in this not for ourselves, we're in this for Christ, and that we want to be a strength, a giver to others. So that when we're together, we are conscious of the fact, I want to minister to you, I want to give strength to you, I want to empower you, so there's some giving that's going on there where we're a strength to one another. These 3 things Jesus thought was important enough. It's kind of the final teaching he gave them before his death and resurrection. they're important for us as well. May we be servants. May we stand with Christ, and may we be a strength to one another.